Hi, Debbie Chu here from Chew on Vegan, and welcome back to my kitchen. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new here to my channel, I am a plant-based RN, and I follow a low-calorie density whole food plant-based diet. And on my channel, you will find quick and easy whole food plant-based recipes. They're not only good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet. And if that sounds good to you, please subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Chew on Vegan. And if you're new to this way of eating or just curious or maybe need some more support, I started a Facebook group. This is going to be a what I eat in a day video, but this is going to be what I eat in a day from my griddle. I got a brand new Bella griddle and I just love it. So I'm going to show you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the meals that I make from my griddle. Let's get started. So to make our batter, everything's going to go into the Vitamix. I've got 1.5 cups of gluten-free oats, and then I'm going to add some vanilla powder, some cinnamon. I've got some flaxseed. I'm going to add some sweet potato, canned sweet potato. Then we're going to add banana. And then to keep these super low fat, we're just going to add water instead of plant milk. And I've got 1.5 cups here. I'm going to start with about 1 cup and see the consistency, and if I need to add more, I will. So I'm going to go blend this up and I'll be right back. Here's our batter. Let's get these on the griddle. So here's my beautiful Bella griddle, and we're just going to pour right from the Vitamix container here onto the griddle. And I like to add a few blueberries just as they're cooking here. And we'll have some on the top too, on the side when we get done. So they just need to cook 2-3 minutes on each side. These are about done, so I'm going to plate these up. So who wouldn't want to come down to breakfast with this waiting for them? Delicious. This made about 10 pancakes of this size. I'm just going to add a little bit of syrup on here, and I will probably eat 4 or 5 of these. And they're definitely low fat, so you won't need to feel guilty about that. So that's breakfast from the griddle. So for lunch, I'm going to make a grilled cheese. I made an absolute delicious, creamy roasted tomato soup yesterday, so I'm going to have that with my grilled cheese. I've got 2 slices of a whole grain gluten-free bread. This is Little Northern Bakehouse bread. I really like it, and it's pretty clean. And then I'm just going to use some of my plant-based cheese sauce. Any plant-based cheese sauce will do. I like to use this one because it is pretty clean. So just a generous amount of cheese. We're not going to use any oil or butter. And you know what? It'll brown just fine. You really don't need it. And you save a lot of fat and calories. Then I like to add a little red onion. You could add pickle. I've added tomato before. So just whatever you're in the mood for, but I like a little red onion, kind of just gives it a little zip. Then to bump up the greens and the nutrition, I like to add a little fresh spinach. And it just kind of wilts in there. Then I have these beautiful microgreens, so I'm going to add some of those onto the sandwich as well. I'm just going to put it on this side and have it stick to the cheese. And then we're just going to put it together and put it on our grill. So I've got the griddle heating up. And we're just going to let this brown on each side. See, it gets nice and toasty. Don't need oil or butter. Here's our grilled cheese. Yummy. And we have our delicious bowl of soup. So I'm gonna go enjoy lunch, and I will see you back at dinner. So the next thing that I'm gonna make on my griddle, and this is gonna be for dinner, are some black bean burgers. Now this recipe is by Veggies Don't Bite. I can leave a link to her webpage below. This recipe has a few more ingredients than I normally use, but these are so good that I make the exception. This is definitely not a weeknight dinner for me. This is a weekend thing. So I'm gonna show you all the ingredients, and everything goes into the food processor, which I love. Makes it so easy. So it's just a matter of taking the time to gather your ingredients. You gotta chop a little bit of an onion, and just make sure that you have all the stuff in your fridge. But it's pretty basic, pretty easy. Like I said, just a few more ingredients than I normally use, but still well worth it. So we start with black beans, and I'll put the full recipe below so you don't have to write everything down. And then we have a cup of cooked rice. And this is brown, but you could use white. If you have white on hand, use what you have. I need a 1/4 cup of cooked potato. I just had mashed potatoes in there, so I'm using those, but use what you have. If you've got a baker in there, use that. I'm all about using what you have. Then we've got some cornmeal. We've got some liquid smoke. Spices are chili powder, garlic powder, and salt. I don't use as much chili powder as she calls for because it makes it just too spicy for me, but you do you. And then 1/2 cup of onion, chopped. And then we need a teaspoon of maple syrup. Now we're just gonna pulse this a few times. You don't want it to be mush. You want kind of a burger kind of consistency, so just go slow on this. And then I kind of go in and mix it around a little bit, because like my potatoes are kind of clumped together here. This is looking pretty good. You know, you still want to see individual pieces of rice, bean, things like that. Now we have some frozen corn, and I just ran this under some water. We're gonna add that in. You wanna leave that to last because you don't want your corn to get all mushed. And then I'll just pulse it a couple more times just to mix it in there. So now we'll start making our burgers. I've got my griddle heating up, so meal number 3 from the griddle. Okay, I forgot a tablespoon of barbecue sauce. It was sitting over on the counter. So now we're just gonna start forming patties. And you can make them, you know, as big as you'd like or as small as you'd like. And you want your griddle to be, I have this on 400, which is as high as it goes. And then we're gonna cook these about 15 minutes on each side. Check them after about 10. But I just love with the corn in here, and it's just a nice burger, very clean. All right, I'm just gonna continue making my burgers. The burgers are all done, and since I had bread at lunch, then I'm gonna just do a lettuce wrap for these burgers. I don't like to eat a lot of bread. If I do, I get bloated, I gain weight, and I don't eat bread every day, so I'm definitely not gonna eat it 2 meals in one day. So I'm just gonna put one of the burgers on here. Then I have some Thousand Island dressing. This is Planful Kiki's recipe. I'll link it below. And I'm gonna just put, you know, a little bit of onion on here maybe. You can do whatever you want. Pickle, red onion, avocado, you know, tomato. And I'll just wrap it up, and eat it. So that's my what I ate in a day from the Griddle. I hope you enjoyed it and got some ideas and some inspiration. If you found this video helpful, please leave me a comment below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animal, and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you. If you're new here to my channel, I am a plant-based Orient. Here I go. And I will leave a link to that in the recipe box. Oh my God. I forgot my barbecue sauce. Okay, I forgot a tablespoon of barbecue sauce. It was sitting over on the counter. So, a couple more pulses. Except I unplugged it. Oh my God, this is turning into a nightmare. So dramatic.